which was the biggest challenge in front of Croatia in the road to accepting the euro?
Thank you very much. Thanks for joining us here, and I wish you a warm welcome to the Ministry of Finance. When it comes to the challenges of euro, it's always challenging to discuss the change of a currency. So for the general public, it was, I would say, first the scare of inflation, of the inflationary pressures. So once you succeed in explaining to the general public that the inflationary pressure is not as high as they expect, and once you succeed in gaining the support, not only the political support, but also the popular support and support of experts, then you can really gain the momentum of joining the Eurozone and accepting the euro as a common currency. So in terms of the communication, I would say it's not only about the media coverage, but also about the informal meetings, gathering the experts, people from academia, universities, institutes, attending conferences and explaining all the benefits of the euro accession.
As you know, Bulgaria and Croatia was accepted at the ERM monetary mechanism, but we are still not on the straight path to the accepting the euro. Can you tell me which made the difference between the two countries?
Sure. I can tell you that from the point of entering the ERM2, we actually set this deadline for the 1st of January 2023 for the euro accession, and we really strive to achieve and to fulfill all the conditions that were required for entering the eurozone. We also had a strong political support and clear vision and leadership, so we actually maintained the stable fiscal position, and also I would say not only the accession to the eurozone, but also the whole journey brought about benefits to Croatia in terms of the fiscal stability. We exited also the excessive deficit procedure and the excessive macroeconomic imbalances. So I would say that this clear commitment to actually joining the eurozone on the 1st of January was something that determined our clear path and success, so to say, in joining the eurozone.
So one of the main things is to set a clear date maybe to join and to say we will do this and this, and then the European institution will start to working for this date also.
Definitely. There is a lot of also, you know, the technical and operational work, and also, as I mentioned, the clear communication campaign. This is not an easy process, so it's really challenging, and it's really important to bring as many stakeholders as possible to be on board and support you in this process.
So I saw a survey which was made by Eurobarometer, and it shows that there is some decline on the support for the euro here in Croatia, but the positive answers are still prevailing. So do you think that after the joining, after 1st of January, this will change and the situation and the public will again start to feel more confident in the euro?
Definitely, definitely. When you observe the economy of a country, and when you know that a lot of our deposits and our credits were denominated in euros, more than 70%, Croatia is a highly euroized country, then the support is actually constantly growing also with the benefits of the euro introduction. I can tell you that as far as we gained the positive decision and our actually path to also entering the European Stability Mechanism was announced, we also had the increase in our credit ratings for 2 notches from all relevant credit rating agencies. We actually have the highest credit rating ever in our history, and this will be beneficially reflected also in the cost of borrowing. which will then also reduce the pressures on the interest rates for general households and firms. So the clear benefits are all being already visible, and as they actually fully unfold, the popular support in this respect will definitely increase.
So can you tell me more about the immediate effects which will bring the adoption of the euro for the business and the households, which they will feel almost immediately?
Sure. Well, first of all, there is the elimination of the currency risks. So we also, when it comes to our public debt, had the significant share of our public debt denominated in euros. So eliminating the currency risks from the public debt portfolio, but from the economy in general, will reduce the risks and have a positive impact on the economy, economic flows, also the foreign direct investments, but also in terms of direct benefits for citizens. The total cost of converting the transaction costs were estimated in Croatia to around 1.2 billion kuna, which is around 170-80 million euros, which is quite significant. So being also a receptive tourist country, we think that this will make life easier also for our guests coming here to Croatia, because they will not have to convert the money before being able to spend something.
Yes. You received the Bulgarian delegation just a minute ago. What did you tell them? What they asked you about your experience to the euro? I see that you have a really good presentation.
Sure. Well, Bulgarian delegation was quite clear and committed to adopting euro, and the Croatian side will definitely be here to help you in this process. So in terms of the technical and operational work, the team of the Ministry of Finance is being at full disposal in terms of the exchange of information, but also some concrete documents, because as I mentioned, the path of introducing the euro is more or less also a huge technical work and a huge technical step. My team and also the teams of the Croatian Central Bank will be here to help in whichever regard our help will be needed.
So do you have additional inflation bump when the euro will be adopted at the 1st of January?
Well, actually no, because it's when you observe the paths of the last few countries that entered the eurozone, actually the inflationary pressure was estimated to around 0.0 to 0.4%. So I don't see any risk in this regard. However, we are now facing the inflationary pressures from some other sources. Not to go into details right now, I'm sure that you all know that all countries of the European Union and also the neighboring countries are faced with these risks. But I think that the government should also be transparent in this process and also through the communication campaigns explain all the benefits and also disguise stories about potential costs of introducing euro in terms of increasing inflation. Because if you have the clear rules set and if you're being transparent in this process, for example, in Croatia, we are now having the double price display, actually displaying prices in our national currency, kuna, and then in euros, using the fixed rate of conversion. If you explain all that to your citizens, they will know that also with the rounding issues, you cannot increase inflation by as much as it is anticipated. So, for example, in Croatia, we have a clear rule that if the third decimal point is 5 or more, we increase the second one for 1 digit. So it cannot be so high as some opponents of the euro introduction are actually anticipating.
So, do you expect more tourists to come in Croatia after the adoption of the euro?
Well, as I mentioned, it will definitely be beneficial for tourists. I'm not sure that tourists take care directly of the currency issues once they decide to visit the country. I'm sure that they are attracted by the beauties of Croatia and our good position in this regard, and connectivity when it comes to road connectivity and also by other means of transport. But I'm confident that it will make life easier for tourists because, as I mentioned, the transaction costs are estimated to around 1.2 billion kuna, and this cost will be completely eliminated once we enter the eurozone. So I expect also the greater interest of tourists, not in terms only of overnight stays, but also in terms of the tourist revenue.
Yes, but do you prepare some kind of events or some kind of celebration at the 1st of January when you are entering in the...
Well, not now. We are now being, coping with a lot of technical work. We actually have to change 77 laws because of the euro introduction. 77 laws. We sent last week 65 laws in the parliamentary procedure, and now we are preparing the rest for the rest of the period. So there's still a lot of work to do in terms of the supply of monetary currencies. So we didn't think of celebrations right now, but I'm sure we'll somehow mark the entry into the eurozone at the 1st of January 2023.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.